create one. Every time you say some stupid shit, a flat earther is born.
Right, Dave. Sure. Yeah, that's how it works. G'day, everybody. Where's Wally here? Hey, it's been a while. Firstly, I want to let all my subs know that fellow founding Wolfpack member Critical Think is filling in for me, and he's going to Antarctica.
Yes, we're going to Antarctica. So there's this cool dude, Will Duffy, who come up with this final experiment.
Unfortunately, that bloody Dave McKeegan has taken the free ticket, so Critical Think is going to have to fund it all himself. Now, Critical Think has made a great video all about himself and the many things that he has done poking flat earthers right in the ideology with a sharp stick. In fact, sending Critical Think will improve the final experiment. So my suggestion to make the final experiment better is to take Critical Think. Oh, and seriously, he does need to go to do his experiment, which will make the final experiment better anyway, by demonstrating that the globe is in fact rotating. His ongoing experiment is measuring weight change versus latitude, due to the combination of gravitational and centrifugal forces acting on a standard mass. So that is yet another reason you need to get over to his GoFundMe and go fund him. Link is in the description as always. Okay, having said all that, let me be perfectly clear that my suggestion for the final experiment is to take a set of scales and standard masses to Antarctica Union Glacier to compare to the latitude -80 data and to other data collected in South America and other places along the way to Antarctica. And naturally, taking the one person who has done this more than anyone else in the world would be a bit of a no-brainer.
And what I've done a hell of a lot of work with is the weight measurements versus latitude. And this is why the trip to Antarctica is a great thing for this experiment. Now, I've travelled to many places around Australia and Thailand, Singapore, and taken a lot of measurements with a scale which that demonstrates the Earth is a rotating oblate spheroid. And I've taken all these measurements and plot them here on this graph. Now, if we include the latitudes up to 90 degrees, you can see there's a big gap in the graph there. And I'd like to fill some of those holes in that gap. So going to Antarctica will allow us to take a couple of measurements there. This one here, which would be at Punta Arenas, and this one at Union Glacier on the Antarctic continent. And you can see it'd be very nice to get those numbers to fill in that graph.
A link to that video and to his GoFundMe will be in the description as always. And please, let's get Critical Think there, because if any flatties dare to go, then Critical Think is just the type of guy to be there to keep them honest. And then I woke up this morning to hear FlatZoid doing his FlatZoid 11 best to cope, to excuse himself from going and to prove something that he claims doesn't happen.
You know, this Antarctic trip, do you guys really think they're going to go?
Not really, no.
Oh, we Globies are going for sure. Can you imagine coming back with 48 hours of video time-lapse and the sun was above the horizon the whole time? Fantastic flat earth poking stuff that would be to have. And to be able to say you got it yourself, that is a real gem.
I highly doubt they're going to go.
I want to see them get on the plane and get off of it. I want to film the whole thing, dude. Beginning to end.
Well, there is excuse number one. The Globies won't actually go, and the Globies will fake the flight. Well, I guess we can sort that out real easy.
Find out they faked it by going to Disney Epcot. You see, they're at the zoo standing in front of some penguins with a fan blowing on them. Yeah, we're in Antarctica. Yeah.
I mean, think about
in here. Yeah.
I mean, think what they're going to do if they do end up going. They're probably going to go there like, oh, shit, we're wrong, guys. Now we have to make up some kind of edited video and pass it out as real.
Excuse number two. They go and any videos will be deemed to be edited and fake. Well, that's straight out the Flat Earth playbook. I hope you do realise that you will not be able to claim faked when you didn't go. You really think that from your basement you will have the greater weight of proof, and that a team of 3 or 4 globies all taking videos of themselves and the location and the 24-hour sun? Seriously, if you don't go, we really don't think you have any hope of debunking it. I mean, is that not exactly what you said to me when I was pointing out all your fail in the Skegness wind turbine from here in my comfort of Australia? Luckily for me, though, in that case, you had provided all the evidence for me to point out the many errors and fails. I don't think you're going to have any such luck with our stuff. If you think that we're going to be sloppy as wobbly tripod McCann, you have another thing coming. Now, Critical Think is a very smart electrical engineer, and Dave McKeegan is a professional photographer. There's not going to be any cracks in any evidence from these boys. Get used to that fact right now. But I digress.
Yeah.
And then they're also going to be like, how can I put it? Like we were also saying before, why do they need to go if they're so confident in their globe?
Yeah. I thought they'd already proven this. Why do they have to prove it again?
Excuse number 3. Why did they need to go if they already know that they are right? Well, this is a new way of coping that I've not heard before. Now, I thought that it was so obvious that we wanted to go to Antarctica purely to take flatties to Antarctica to see them see it. The final experiment is more about flatties having the intestinal fortitude to test their own claims. And this leaves me speechless. I am actually without speech.
See, that's suspicious in the first place. They already said that it was, a known fact and everything. Well, if it's a known fact, why are you spending countless amounts of money to prove something that has supposedly already been proven? I mean, if the guy couldn't actually film a 24-hour sun and had to edit shit together.
Excuse number 4 incoming. Existing 24-hour sun videos are fake. Well, no, Dave. It does have the start edited to be at the end to create a loop, but there is still 24 hours of sunlight that is all above the horizon. And certainly when you go to the original, you can see that there's actually more than 24 hours. And then you can go to my mate Robert Schwartz, and he is the man when it comes to 24-hour videos, because he was at the literal centre of 90 South. And he was there for 14 different winter periods, and he has done it many times, and flatties just don't get it. And Will showed this the other day from Twitter. This really cracks me up. Same building 5 times in a time lapse. Lol.
To make it so, then what's that tell you in the first place?
Yeah,
I mean, anytime you have to lie or deceive to make a point, you don't have a point.
But Dave, you better be sure that there are lies and deceit on the table, or else it is you that is fooling yourself. All too often, flatties declare us to be the liars. That just sounds like excuse number 5.
That's just weird. But yeah, it's gonna. I think it's a whole setup from the anti-flat earthers guys.
Mhm.
I think I don't think it's really gonna happen.
Excuse number 6. It's just a setup. Well, in a way, you are being set up, but not by Globers, but by your own beliefs. And now we're asking you to please come with us, just to have a look. What could be simpler? You guys do like to say that only flatties get out and test stuff and look at stuff and find the truth. So, feet to the fire much, FlatZoid?
Right off the bat, the dishonesty. I mean, Toon was asked right out, do you know who's behind it? And he said no. Acted like it was a mystery to him. And he was the one behind it the whole freaking time.
Oh, Dave, that is weak sauce excuse number 7, especially as it wasn't Toon but Will that you are actually referring to. I know that they are particularly identical, like twins, in much the same way that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito looked exactly identical. And Will Duffy did issue an apology video. He explained why and how it all happened, and he was genuinely sorry. Flirfs are really great at finding a get-out-of-jail-free card when their backs are to the wall, aren't they?
Yeah, Glober Mom, it's a bit difficult to go since I have children and a wife and a job and other responsibilities. And
Excuse number 8 and number 9. I can't go because I got kids, and the missus will give me rounds of the table. And the boss, he said he only needed one more excuse to fire me. I can't go.
I'm definitely not going to go freeze my knackers off with a whole bunch of people that I definitely don't trust.
Excuse number 10. You don't trust us. Well, we don't trust you, but we are all respectful people, and you might find that you like us if you got to know us as people rather than people who always know much more than you do. But you raise an interesting point. You don't trust us, but you're very happy to let us go and do self-reporting back to tell you what we see. That's interesting, don't you think?
Global Mom, you are more than happy to come on. There is still a space open if you want to come in and present.
How
your
long's the
globe.
why no flat earthers are interested? Because we're not stupid.
Yeah, not just that. We are all confident in the globe. In the globe being fake.
It's not going well.
Oh, while we listened to FlatZoid's excuse number 11, we don't need to know, as we know it is a globe. Oh, and FlatZoid, is that your Freudian slip, I see?
And I mean, we said this before. It's not an experiment. They don't know what an experiment is.
Excuse number 12. You can stop now, FlatZoid. I only need 11 excuses. You're ruining the name of my video. And as for it not being an experiment, well, how about you write up the experiment scientifically with the IV and the DV and all the associated rigor to make it proper science? Or would you rather keep the ability to parrot the words pseudoscience up your sleeve? Now, look, I asked Nathan to do it, and I got nothing. Anyway, it'll be super easy, and I will do it on the next video just to get the good name of Wally up on the participation board. That'll be great.
They don't even understand that even if you see a sun, which they won't, it's still plausible on a flat Earth. Yeah. It's not plausible on a globe, whatever, if they don't see a 24-hour sun, which they don't, because we've had actual interviews with people that's worked there. And they say, no, you do not see a 24-hour sun.
Now, you think it works on a flat Earth to see a 24-hour sun that far south. Please explain just how that is. I bet that you're thinking of claiming that it's daylight or twilight and it's not the full disk of the sun and there will be light bouncing off the dome that doesn't actually exist. Is that right?
Look for a picture. Go ahead. Anybody, go ahead and look for a picture from space of Antarctica. Go ahead and see if you can find one. And you will be presented with a glorious array of cartoons.
Oh, you mean like from Himawari 9 or from the Epic Discover? That is very pretty. And guess what? They match too. Right, I'm almost done. I want to give FlatZoid one last chance to explain just how he thinks the final experiment will go. How do you explain a 24-hour sun way in the south on a flat Earth?
Yeah, exactly, Vika. Seeing daylight and seeing sun is two different things. That's what we're trying to explain to these guys.
Yep.
And that's exactly what will happen if they do decide to go to Antarctica in December, if they do make it. They're going to see daylight. They're not going to see the sun. And note, we are able to explain the daylight because of the dome.
Yeah.
They can't, because they need to see the literal sun the whole 24 hours.
You got the fluorescent. You've got fluorescing of gases as well.
Exactly. Excitement of gases in the air.
Firstly, you are strawmanning the 24 hours of light. No, we are saying 24 hours of the direct seeing the sun, burning your retinas without a filter, disk with sunspot over the horizon at all points of the compass for a full 24-hour period, none less. So your excuse, not so much. Thanks, guys.
Have you guys ever thought about it? Has someone stood under the GP of Polaris before and looked up?
Not that I know of.
Not directly, no.
Okay. Now, has anybody gone and done the same with Sigma Octantis in the southern celestial pole?
That's my recollection. Yeah.
And are they supposed to be quite close to the southern celestial pole in Antarctica, correct?
Yeah.
So they should be able to theoretically stand up and look at the south celestial pole right above them. Why is this never shown? But think about it. That's one thing. I've looked. I can't find anything on it. It's just something that's just popped into my mind today when I was thinking. I was like, but wouldn't that show a globe then if they had to show both celestial poles by standing underneath it on the GP? And no one shows that.
No.
Why is that?
Because they can't.
That's a
It's
good question.
really odd. You know, because they go to Antarctica and they're claiming the South Celestial Pole. I think the one camp that Duff is also pushing from these guys is like literally there in the South Pole. So that means they should see Sigma Octantis right above them.
Yeah, that would make sense.
See the South Celestial Pole around them. And This is not documented. You see, it's a very faint kind of thing. They say, because it has to be the south celestial pole because we have a north celestial pole on the globe.
Well, if we have satellites that go over the pole, couldn't they zoom in on Cygnus Nautantis? They could look, turn around. Right there it is. The same with Polaris too.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, wouldn't that show more or less that your globe's false because you're not able to show two actual celestial poles from the GPS on the ground?
That would make sense. Yeah. No, they don't.
So that's just my 2 cents on this. So, well, Duffy, if you guys do go, that should be in the homework you guys should do.
Yeah.
Try and get the South Celestial Pole above you.
Yeah.
Well, they won't be able to get it if it's a midnight sun. It's going to be sun all the time.
So, yeah. But it's
It's not
just
going
something I
well.
was thinking about. I was like,